and pay tax to the central government, as they have in America, as they have even in Britain. Britain, you have Scotland that is almost independent. Wales, the same thing. Everybody is free. But Britain doesn't want the same thing they're enjoying to happen in Nigeria. Why? Ask yourself that question. Anybody telling you about one Nigeria is your enemy?
It's the same thing they did to Kanu now. How do you think that Kanu was kidnapped in Kenya and brought to Nigeria, and there's no manifest of the plane that brought him to today? Even judges cannot ask for it. How did he get to Nigeria from Kenya?
In every nation, there are voices the powerful try to silence. In Nigeria, that voice belongs to Nnamdi Kanu, a man some call a hero, others call a threat. But beyond the headlines lies a deeper truth the government does not want you to hear. Here on this channel, we dig beneath the surface, uncovering the stories, the facts, and the silenced voices shaping Africa's history and future. So before we dive in, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and most importantly share your opinion in the comments below. Because your voice matters. Together, we are not just watching history, we are making it. Now, let's begin the story of the man Nigeria is afraid of, Nnamdi Kanu. In the history of modern Nigeria, few names stir as much passion, fear, and controversy as Nnamdi Kanu. To some, he is a freedom fighter, a symbol of resistance against decades of injustice. To others, he is a dangerous agitator whose words threaten the fragile unity of Africa's most populous nation. But one question continues to echo: why is Nigeria so desperate to silence him? To understand this, we must first revisit a scar that never healed. The Biafran War of 1967. More than 3 million people, mostly Igbos, perished in that conflict. Hunger, displacement, and death carved a deep wound into the soul of a people who believed their survival depended on independence. Nigeria declared victory in 1970, but beneath the "no victor, no vanquished" slogan, bitterness remained. It is this wound, passed from one generation to another, that Nnamdi Kanu dared to touch. Kanu was not a soldier. He carried no gun. His weapon was his voice amplified through Radio Biafra and the internet, reaching millions across Nigeria and the diaspora. He spoke of marginalization, of a system that treats the Southeast as outsiders in a country they helped build. He reminded people of abandoned roads, collapsed infrastructure, political exclusion, and the long silence of leaders. The government called it hate speech. His followers called it truth. But the real fear was not in his words alone, it was in his ability to mobilize. Across towns and villages, across oceans and borders, people gathered under one banner: Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB. In less than a decade, IPOB became one of the fastest growing separatist movements in Africa. No political party, no army, no wealthy sponsor behind it, just raw belief, coordinated through the voice of one man. For a government already struggling with insurgency in the north and unrest in the Niger Delta, this was too much. Nnamdi Kanu questioned the very foundation of Nigeria. He called it a British experiment, a contraption forced together for colonial interests. In his view, Nigeria was never a nation, only a cage holding unwilling tribes. To the ruling elite, this was the ultimate crime. Because once people begin to question the legitimacy of the state begins to tremble. And so the silencing began. In 2015, Kanu was arrested on charges of treason. His detention sparked protests across the southeast, many of them met with force. Amnesty International accused Nigerian forces of extrajudicial killings of unarmed IPOB members. The government denied it, insisting IPOB was a violent organization. But silence did not work. Each time he was released on bail, his voice grew louder. Each broadcast from London drew more followers. And then came the extraordinary rendition. In 2021, Kanu was kidnapped in Kenya and flown back to Nigeria in secret, a move condemned by international law experts as illegal. For the government, it was a victory. For his supporters, it was proof that their leader was too powerful to be left free. What many Nigerians do not know is that this fear runs deeper than IPOB alone. In Abuja, in Lagos, in Kaduna, politicians whisper of a chain reaction. If Biafra rises, will Yoruba follow with Adajua? Will the Niger Delta demand full independence? Will the Middle Belt resist domination? Nigeria is a fragile puzzle, and Nnamdi Kanu is seen as the spark that could scatter its pieces. This is why the state fights him so aggressively, not just because of what he says, but because of what his success could inspire. 4 decades, Nigeria's unity has been kept not by consensus, but by force. The elites fear that if one region successfully breaks away, the illusion of one Nigeria collapses forever. And yet, the more the government tries to silence him, the more his name spreads. His detention has turned him into a symbol, a prisoner of conscience for some, a dangerous rebel for others. Inside Nigerian media houses, journalists are pressured not to give him space. On social platforms, IPOB accounts are flagged, restricted, or erased. Officially, IPOB is branded a terrorist group. But unofficially, many Nigerians quietly ask, if they are terrorists, why are they the ones mostly killed unarmed on the streets? This is the contradiction. The government cannot silence the questions, because they are tied to real grievances. Grievances about justice, equality, and dignity. Grievances about whether Nigeria is truly one country or just a line drawn on a map. So when we ask, why is Nnamdi Kanu a threat? The answer is simple and yet complex. He is a threat because he represents memory, the memory of a war the government once forgotten. He is a threat because he represents mobilization, the power of a people once considered silent. He is a threat because he exposes a truth that Nigeria has tried to bury, that unity cannot be forced, it must be chosen. And why did they decide to silence him? Because his existence questions theirs. Because his freedom threatens their control. Because in his voice, millions find the courage to ask what no one dares to say. Is Nigeria truly united, or is it only surviving on borrowed time? This is why the struggle of Nnamdi Kanu is not just about one man, not just about one region, not just about one nation. It is about the future of a country still haunted by its past, and the lengths to which power will go to preserve itself. If you watched to this extent, thank you. Please don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to the channel.